European Council of Princes, a constitutional advisory body within the European Union. In this regard, he succeeded the imperial and royal House of Habsburg Austria, who had retained the office from 1946. The new appointment held significant political implications for Scotland because, in unanimously electing Michael of Albany, some 32 sovereign houses openly proclaimed the continuing de jure Scots monarchy to an international audience, a royal dynasty which, according to British academic historians, had long been extinct. 17 Jacques Stewart, President, European Ecumenical Commission on Church and Society. The EX has offices in Strasbourg and in Brussels, where the main EU headquarters are located. Jacques Stewart, who is also former president of the Protestant Federation of France, opened the first meeting of the Church and Society Commission of the Conference of European Churches, (CEC), which took place on 9 and 10 January in Strasbourg. Strasbourg is the French city which houses the headquarters of the Council of Europe, the European Court of Human Rights, and in which the European Parliament holds regular plenary sessions. 18. Gary Stewart, former imperator, ancient mystical order Rosicrucis Amorc is the world's largest Rosicrucian organization. Presently, Gary Stewart is imperator of the Confraternity of the Rose Cross, Grand Sovereign Master of the British Martinist Order and Knight Commander of the Order of the Militia Crucifera Evangelica. The OMC has a strong Templarist influence. Imperator Stewart's authority to lead the world's Rosicrucians can be traced back to Ralph M. Lewis and Spencer Lewis in the American revival of the R+C tradition. 19. Leland Stewart, founder, Unity and Diversity Council. Constance Cumby's special report on Pat Robertson states, Leland Stewart displayed large charts of what he called the Unity and Diversity Framework. He explained the coming New World Government, a one-world government comprised of bioregions and some left-over nation-state boundary regions. He spoke of a forthcoming New World religion. He praised Pope John Paul II for his meeting with the Dalai Lama and African animist leaders. Leland Stewart's organization, Unity and Diversity Council, sponsored Benjamin Creme in 1982 in their annual meeting and urged the members of their affiliate organizations to hear him. R.J. Stewart, speaker at Findhorn Conference in 1995 with Luciferian David Spangler. Findhorn, in Scotland, has been called the New Age Vatican. Donald M. Stewart, member of the Club of Rome. Also, a member of the Council on Foreign Relations and director of the Center for International Policy. Former president of Spelman College. 20. Martha Stewart, independent television and film producer, founder of Martha Stewart Communications and member of the U.S. Association for the Club of Rome. 21. Peter Paul Stewart, founder and chairman of the board of the Thanksgiving Foundation at Thanksgiving Square, Texas. Robert Mueller was one of the signatories of the first Declaration of World Thanksgiving, which was affirmed by 11 other distinguished international religious leaders, including the Pope and Dalai Lama. Please note the New Age redefinition of Thanksgiving, in 1988, at the Cathedral of St. John the Divine in New York City. The pastor, Reverend James Parks Morton, conducted a Thanksgiving Day service in which 4,000 children and adults joined with American Indians, tribal leaders, medicine men, witches, nature worshippers. In a circle dance of religious friendship and unity. Morton said the purpose of the dance was to redefine Thanksgiving. Part of the impetus for the ceremony was to create a heightened consciousness of the necessity of different religions working together to save our planet. 22. Gordon Curran Stewart, member of Council on Foreign Relations, President, Insurance Information Institute NYC. Patricia Carey Stewart, member of Council on Foreign Relations, Vice President, Edna McConnell Clark Foundation, Incorporated. Ruth Ann Stewart, member of Council on Foreign Relations, Assistant Librarian, Library of Congress Programs. Patrick Stewart, star of Star Trek, The Next Generation. Winner of the 1997 Amnesty International Award with Mike Wallace and Bianca Jagger. The Amnesty International USA Media Spotlight Award is given to those in the arts and media who make special efforts to promote wider public awareness of human rights. Patrick Stewart also endowed an Amnesty International USA summer program giving young adults first-hand field experience working with human rights agencies in countries from the USA to Rwanda and Bosnia. J. George Stewart, architect of the U.S. Capitol, 1954 to 1970, 23, Donald R. Stewart, member of the Council for National Policy, a secret organization which includes among its 400-plus members numerous Christian ministry leaders, various members of Scottish Rite Freemasonry of high degree, including Jesse Helms and Jack Kemp, Senator Trent Lott, Representative Dick Armey, and other globalists involved in media, oil, real estate and financial industries. Thomas Stewart, Washington State Republican businessman, investigated for illegal campaign contributions of an estimated $100,000 since 1990. Avoided felony charges but paid $5 million in fines and served 2 months home confinement for 25 misdemeanor counts of campaign finance violations. Represented by Cyrus Vance, Jr., 24, Don Stewart, Canadian government environmental official. Rod Stewart, New Age Rock and Roll Hall of Fame star from Scotland. Don Stewart's authors, Bible commentators promoted by Chuck Smith's Calvary Chapel, Don Douglas Stewart, Don L. Stewart, D.J. Stewart, D. Michael Stewart, Don K. Stewart. 25, Jeff Stewart, Calvary Chapel pastor, Pomona Valley. The Schloss Harald Deck Castle is Calvary Chapel's European Conference Center and the Austrian Alps. 26, Lee Stewart maintains website for AD 2000 and Beyond and Global Resources Ministries International, GRMI. Teaches the false Hebrew roots of Christianity doctrine, a form of British Israelism which claims that the Anglo-Saxon nations are the lost 12 tribes of Israel. 27, Glenn Stewart authored and maintains the Scottish Stewart Clan internet homepage, which has links to numerous evangelical ministries/denominations. The Stone of Destiny, a revival leader associated with the United Kingdom, Toronto Blessing, wrote a testimony which portrays Jesus as a voyeur. The blasphemous testimony of Teresa Sepadis was posted on her webpage, now titled God Speak International, but removed within days of posting our expose. A portion of this testimony is reprinted in the Revival Connection. Teresa also ministered in 1994 with John and Carol Arnott of Toronto Blessing fame in San Francisco, 28, and in 1996 and 1997 with Randy Clark in the St. Louis Vineyard Christian Fellowship, which sponsored Catch the Fire conferences in Moscow. 29. Of interest to us was the fact that Teresa Sepadis' testimony was also posted in an email conference on the Scottish Stewart Clan internet home, which focuses on the Toronto revival that has been exported around the world. Within hours after the Watch On to Prayer expose was posted on November 6, 1997, the Scottish Stewart Clan internet home blocked access to their discussion groups for all except those having a secret password. Plainly, the Stewart clan does not want the Rosicrucian UK/Toronto Revival connection to be known. Among the 67 cyberchurch discussion groups which are active and the Scottish Stewart Clan internet home may be found a broad spectrum of ministries that profess to be Christian, Pentecostals, Revival, Promise-Keeping Men, Vineyard Churches, Church of God, Assembly of God, Baptist, Methodist, Lutheran, Seventh-day Adventist, Episcopal, Catholic, Mennonite, Nazarene, Pro-Life, Prayer Network, ChristNet UK, ChristNet Scotland, Salt Church, Worship and Unity. The Scottish Stewart Clan internet home is very esoteric for a Christian website, with emphasis on the genealogies of various Scottish clans. New Age books such as Bloodline of the Holy Grail also emphasize genealogies, especially the Merovingian families, which include the Stewarts. On the Stewart Clan internet home is found the crest of the phoenix, which is the occult symbol of resurrection. The Stewart website also features a Christian version of Dungeons & Dragons titled Dragon Raid. Of special interest is a page about the Stone of Destiny, which has recently been moved from England to Scotland. According to the Stewart Clan interpretation of Bible prophecy, this stone, formerly Jacob's pillar, upon which kings of Scotland and England were traditionally crowned, will be used in the coronation of Christ as the King of Israel, This stone is believed to be the original pillar that Jacob dedicated to God after his all-night wrestling vigil with an angel. From all references, this stone represents the house of David that went into oblivion after the wicked king Zedekiah was dethroned by our father and later blinded and killed along with his sons. Jacob's pillar, the stone of destiny, was believed to have been subsequently carried by Jeremiah, along with Zedekiah's 2 daughters, to Ireland. Later, it went to Scotland, then England. Most scholars, along with this writer, see these 3 moves associated with Ezekiel 21:27, I will overturn, overturn, overturn it, and it shall be no more, until he come whose right it is, and I will give it him. It will not be used ever again in the crowning of an earthly king because it has been announced that it will go on permanent display in Edinburgh, Scotland. Therefore, this move obviously ended the stone's role in the crowning of kings, ending with King George VI in 1936. The last king crowned over the stone. That being the case, Messiah, according to Ezekiel, will be the next king over the house of David. So, the third overturn is yet in effect. In light of these facts, as stated last month, this move, after some 700 years, would seem to be significant as to just how close the Lord's return could be. In other words, from Zedekiah forward, Israel, as a nation, would have no king until Messiah comes, Gen. 49 hours 10 minutes, ... and true to prophecy, that has been the case. This means that the scattered and divided kingdom of Israel must be restored and Christ installed as her king ... the most holy Dan. 9:24-30. Although there is disagreement as to which stone is the true stone of destiny, and whether it was Jacob's pillar or pillow, the preceding fable is nearly identical to the account presented in Bloodline of the Holy Grail by Lawrence Gardner. Not only were the Grail Knights and Templars appointed guardians of the Stuart Sangreal, Holy Grail, in Scotland, they also became protectors of the Stone of Destiny, the Stone of Scone. This most sacred of Scots treasures had been brought to Scotland from Ireland by Fergus Mór Mac, the first king of Dalriada, in the 5th century, having originally been carried to Ireland from Judah in about 586 BC. The venerated holy relic was said to be the Stone of the Covenant, known as Jacob's Pillow, Gen. 28 hours 18 minutes -22, on which Jacob laid his head and saw the ladder reaching up to heaven at Bethel. In a dream God promised Jacob that his seed would generate the line of kingship to follow, the line which in due course became the Davidic succession. When the Jews were persecuted by Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon, Matania, the son of King Josiah, and a direct descendant of David, was installed in Judah. Known as King Zedekiah, he acceded to the throne of Jerusalem in 598 BC. 12 years later Jerusalem fell to Nebuchadnezzar, whereupon Zedekiah was taken to Babylon and blinded. Jer. 39-67, 52 hours 10 minutes -11. His sons were murdered, but his daughter Tamar was removed to Ireland, via Egypt and Spain, by the prophet Jeremiah. He also brought the anointed stone of the covenant, which became known as Leophale, stone of destiny. In Latin it was the Sachem Fatale. Princess Tamar, Timher, gave her name to Tara, the seat of the High Kings of Ireland, and she married Dardri, High King, Ochade, ancestor of Eugene Mar, Eugene the Great. Subsequently, over a millennium, Ochade's successors were crowned in the presence of the sacred stone. The Irish heritage then progressed to Scotland, where the relic of Judah became synonymous with the kings of Dalriada. King Kenneth, MacAlpin, 844–859, later moved the stone to Scone Abbey when he united the Scots and the Picts. By the time of William the Lion, d. 1214, the Stone of Destiny bore witness to nearly 100 coronations in sovereign descent from King Zedekiah. On declaring himself overlord of Scotland in 1296, Edward I of England stole what he thought was the Stone of Destiny. What he actually got was a piece of sandstone from a monastery doorway, which has since rested beneath the coronation throne at Westminster.